Hi everyone, and welcome back from the break and to our home stretch in our management unit. This week we're focused on chapter 10 of our book, where we're looking at the topic of motivating and rewarding employees. So as always, we're also thinking about this in terms of our own career direction. So thinking about what does it mean to be motivated in ourselves, and then thinking about what does it mean if we're going to become leaders or managers in organisations, or even working in collaboration with people. And historically, we've sort of tended to think about motivation in terms of how do we motivate others. And what we've moved more towards is an understanding that rather than trying to motivate others, what is more in line with the contemporary thinking, and is probably a better strategy, is to try and tap into what motivates people. So rather than thinking of it as an external thing that we can motivate others, how do we actually connect with them in a way that we understand them better and are then able to tap into their motivators? And then, so what we want to do in this chapter, so in the next set of videos, in this one, I'm going to quickly define and explain what we mean by the concept of motivation. Then the next video, we dive into some of the early theories of motivation. So we can think of these as foundational concepts, foundational theories that sort of laid the groundwork for our understanding of what motivation is, and the factors that make up motivation. We'll then move into a video that looks at some of the more contemporary theories. So moving on from those early ones, what are our current understandings of what motivates people? And then we'll look at some of the issues when it comes to the modern world and modern organisations when it comes to motivating employees. So what do we mean by motivation? So we might think about this in yourself. You might think, yeah, there's some things that motivate me and other things that don't, that are particular tasks or things that you find more motivating than others. But we use this definition, which is that motivation is a process, so it's a doing, by which an individual's efforts are energized, given some direction, and sustained over time towards the attainment of a goal. And so what's important to remember is that people are different in terms of their level of motivation. And as is probably quite obvious, that motivation varies in different situations and in different tasks. So, you might feel motivated to study, but there might be different subjects that you find more motivating than others. You feel a lot more energy around them, and you might feel that you have a greater sense of direction and drive when it comes to those particular subjects. Similarly, there's probably things in your life that you find you have a lot more energy around and a lot more direction that you are able to sustain effort towards, compared to other aspects of your life. So we want to drill in a little bit to this definition so that we can start to think about it when we dive into these theories, thinking about this core idea that motivation has a sense of energy. So how intense do we feel about this particular activity? And just even, is it energizing or is it de-energizing, or what we might call draining for us? So there are some, tasks or some goals that we have that we might feel a lot of energy around and we might feel quite energized about. And then there are other things that when we think about them, we just feel like, oh, it kind of sucks the life out of us. So this is an important idea when we think about motivation, is what is energizing us about it. Then is the direction that the effort is being channeled in correct, in the sense that, is it going towards goals that we want to actually attain? So from an organizational and a management perspective, what we want is that people's efforts are actually going towards things that actually benefit to the organization. What we don't want people doing is directing their energy towards things that either have no usefulness to us, or are potentially taking the organisation in the wrong direction, or are working against what we're trying to achieve in the organisation. And then there's the idea of persistence. So sustained effort over time is important when we're thinking about achieving goals, rather than kind of either just being motivated, not motivated, motivated, not motivated, being able to actually sustain that effort over time, either in those short bursts, but working towards that actual goal over time is what we want to be thinking about as well when we think about just whether, rather than just is someone motivated or not, but are they actually achieving that goal over time by sustained effort? So that kind of gives us our definition of motivation. The next video, we're going to dive into these 4 theories of motivation that are sort of our early foundational ideas around motivation. Some of them you might have heard of before. Probably Maslow is the one that's best known. You've probably heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but we're going to dig into some of these other ones as well. So I will catch you in the next video.